do not beat yourself up for the times when you miss gains, right? When you sell too early and it goes up a little bit, make sure you secure your gains when you
Yes, 100%. Yo. Welcome back to Roy's podcast. I'm Roy Spencer.
And I'm John Rodriguez, and this is Roy's podcast. And today we have a very special guest, a genius, some may say. His name is Anders. How do you pronounce your last name, Anders?
Rottschafer.
Rottschafer. See,
Nice.
it even sounds like a
It's a
genius.
smart guy name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So Anders, your major was, what was it again?
Biochemistry.
Biochemistry. But
Yeah.
sorry, I forget. You're just like, I feel like it's biochemistry, but you know a lot about other different fields and stuff.
Right.
It seems
Yeah. So I was homeschooled from first grade to 12th grade my whole life before college.
What is that like, though? Was
No.
your parents teaching you?
Well, past 7th grade, no. I was all self-taught, or I
Dang.
Wow.
books. And yeah.
So you're just a motivated individual. You are really the definition of like a self-starter right there.
Yeah, I think those times definitely gave me some internal motivation to learn and a lot of great study skills.
So you're pretty
But it also-
disciplined.
Yeah, but it also diversified my interests. So like I started coding when I was 12, HTML and CSS. We were talking about that before. Just the basics, and I think I would have gotten that deep into things like coding and chemistry hadn't it been for homeschool.
But you got in so early. Like the thing is, like it takes people like a while through just kind of like what the like communities will push you towards. But like if you could pick that up so early, just imagine how skilled. Like, you gotta be doing this kind of like at this point, like it's like the back of your hand. You're just like doo-doo-doo, like there's a code, boom, like insert. Like you're not thinking about it anymore. It's like breathing.
Some language like HTML, yeah, for
Oh,
sure.
wow.
I mean,
That's incredible.
HTML's really easy. You're basically just wrapping the things and wrapping text and stuff, right? But functional programming languages, I've definitely not like that. Things like, I mean, it depends on what I'm working on. Generally, it's the thought process of the problem or the project is really the limiting factor in chemistry.
Right.
Call it.
What is like one of the, and I don't even know if this is a good question, but I feel like it is, but it could be a stupid question. But either way, we're going to ask it. So, like, what was one of the hardest obstacles that you've had to face, or like the hardest, what would it be, like a project that you've had to do that like you were just like, you almost felt like giving up, but you didn't. It was that hard.
Damn. That's deep.
Yeah, a lot of my projects. Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, I mean...
Were any of them related to like
not...
machine learning? Or any of those projects were like machine learning based?
Yes, yeah. They're almost every machine learning project. It's been...
No.
At one point, I was like, okay, is this really...
Is there like what's like the coolest thing that comes to your head when you like be like, yeah, I got to work on something like that? Like if you're allowed to disclose.
Yeah. I mean, kind of what we're going to talk about today is prediction models, stock prediction models.
Hell yeah.
What is that?
How long have you been refining those for?
Wait, what is a prediction
3
model?
months, maybe 4 months.
Wow, that's sick.
What is a prediction model exactly?
It's a broad type of machine learning, model. You're trying to predict something based on past historical data.
Well, what are you using it for? Like, what are you predicting?
Stock prices or crypto
Just
prices.
price
Pretty
movements
general
and stuff
model.
like that.
So what exactly, because I don't know much about coding, what exactly, like when you post something on GitHub, what is that used for? Like, what's the purpose?
It's a way to well, first of all, store and distribute code, whether
To other people?
or to your own systems. Like, let's say you
Oh,
wanted code, you designed an app
yeah.
application for Linux machines, right? And you had a bunch of Linux machines. You could just, it's very easy to just install that code from GitHub right onto those machines without
Gotcha.
any other, yeah.
It's like for like transferability and usability and stuff, right? Hell yeah. So,
Would it be similar to like I know like when like designing a website, like if there's a certain thing like you want to track the analytics for, you know, the individual, like who they are or what business visited your website, like you can use this code. One of the examples I'm just going to use is like there's a thing called Lead Finder, and
Actually.
they provide you with a code, and then you just embed the code into the header, and then it tracks it. Is it like that kind of stuff?
No, GitHub is just so pretty much every open source coding project is on GitHub. Like,
Oh,
that's
wow.
just the standard.
Right.
And that's just a way to distribute code. So those sorts of things are allowing some sort of API so that Lead Finder can
Yeah.
communicate with your websites.
Okay.
Or maybe actually they probably are doing, that code is probably doing the tracking. And
Like on Squarespace, it's cool because you can view those analytics like straight from the platform itself. But like with at least Wix, like for the analytics, it's a little different, I noticed. So when I inserted that code into the website, like the way I can track those analytics isn't like going to my Wix dashboard. It's going to the Lead Finder dashboard. So so do you think they're saving that information as well, or is it just kind of like?
no, do I think Squarespace?
Sorry, you know, I tend to be a little conspiracy theorist kind of. When I use their code and I put it into you know, my website, and they're tracking these analytics for me and stuff, are they all like, would it be possible, since I know nothing about code and like I couldn't tell, like would it be possible that this company could also be like tracking other things? Taking my like,
Taking
you
your
know,
data at least.
yeah.
And
That's
selling
like a
to third
popular
parties,
thing, though,
for
right?
sure. They're doing
like
that.
Google,
Damn.
Yeah.
just sending all your
Google
information
Analytics.
around. Yeah.
Yeah, and Google Analytics and Facebook Analytics specifically,
Facebook.
which you have to do a similar thing.
What do you think of that though? Like
probably
of Facebook
into the head.
and like their
Oh,
their
gotcha.
recent battle with Apple in terms of something like that? Do you think they'll still be here at the end, or do you think like Apple with like now cutting their privacy concerns with allowing you to track through other apps is like detrimental for them in the future?
So is it going to stop people from using Facebook? You know, in and of itself. No.
Right.
Probably not.
I think it'll actually encourage people a little bit more to use Facebook and things like that. Like, just because they're not as afraid about being tracked and all that. But
Right.
ultimately, the interesting thing is location data isn't your most valuable type
Right.
of data, you know, that Facebook can collect. Now, they're definitely bummed out, and they made that clear.
But they
Yeah,
also
they
don't
can
get to
collect
see like
that.
what you're looking at though, like on your other apps anymore, right?
Oh no, yeah, they definitely can still do that.
I thought that this was like a privacy thing that they can't be looking like across like your apps when they're open or whatever they do.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I misunderstood you. You're right. Yeah.
So
They-
like
they're
that's
not doing
definitely gotta
But I
hurt
don't-
them in the future though, right?
I don't think it's a fatal blow for them.
But like that's how they like make their ads so specific and stuff, and that's why people will pay more for like their ads, right?
Yes, but they are still able to extract a lot of data from, first of all, lookalike users. So you don't have to have all of, you know, the interests of someone, you know, listed out in order to target ads at that person. You just have to find people that they also look like, kind of in a way. And that this is where machine learning plays into.
You mean like a physical presence of what they look like, or like some sort of like what they make out to be in like a code?
From the information they've gathered?
They can they can figure out whether certain things, like whether you are interested in tractors, let's say, right? Just because you live in a rural area, and like they know that, eventually you're going to log on to Facebook on your computer or whatever. It's not going to have those privacy things, and they're going to see that frequency and know. There's other types of data that will be able to tell them that you might be interested.
And the age demographic as well for Facebook. Like a lot of people, I feel like they're like, they like an older person. I just feel like they wouldn't really care or like, go out of their way to go do it because they just, it's just a hassle. So I think they, and that's a big portion of Facebook's users. So it's kind of like, I see it impacting it, but I do see your point. Like it's not going to impact it. Yeah, it's not going to destroy it or anything.
No, it'll hurt their bottom line without a question, though.
Right.
Yeah.
But you still think that they have like a way of organizing people into like different categories to where like they will be able to make good enough ads and stuff that this doesn't really do too much to them at the end.
Totally.
Okay.
Totally. Because before they really implemented a lot of these location things and CrossApp Searching, they were able to do it. So, they're able to watch you scrolling
that
through
sucks.
Whatever, and you do that enough, eventually they will have a very clear picture of your interests and all of that. And like I was saying with lookalike audiences, is they can say, all right, these two people were scrolling through and looking and stopping maybe or liking the exact same things, right? And this person also bought this thing, so let's try and show them an ad for it. And these this is all being done with AI or machine learning, right? Have you ever seen is it The Social Dilemma?
It's The Social Dilemma, yeah.
Isn't it?
It sounded a lot like what that was, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty much summarizing that right now.
That's insane, though. That like they can just go through their stuff and people. It's not like people look through those terms and conditions. Though it's not like like I read that entire thing and even if you don't agree with like one thing of that, you still got to be like I accept like this entire thing.
Well, there's that episode of South Park too where Kyle doesn't read the accept thing for Apple, and then Steve Jobs ends up making him into a human centipede. And it's like it's like a new thing for Apple. Oh, it's hilarious. But
jeez, what if that's what like you were accepting to? Like people aren't really like sure what they're accepting on these things. Like, how do you think we could do that better as like a country? Or is there a way?
Use blockchain.
Don't use, Facebook. I think as long as they have people scrolling through feeds, they'll be able to.
How could I not use Facebook though? I need to know what like Uncle Betty's like update is about her cookies.
Yeah, and that's the value that Facebook provides people, and that's why they're.
What do you think about like the censorship that Facebook implements?
Yeah, this is getting political.
No.
But,
No pressures, man.
Yeah,
you say whatever you want. Like, no.
Yeah, I don't know. I think private companies should have the right to do whatever they want with their users.
Right.
I understand people that like see that as like we were QAnon, they think that there's this liberal cabal,
right?
And maybe there is. I don't know, but really reinforces that kind of an idea for people, and I understand that. But
right,
like Facebook is working with liberals to stop Trump or whatever.
They don't,
I don't think it goes that deep. I think it's as simple as, Facebook just decided.
misinformation, like just what they deem misinformation. But so like the people that decide that, like I know on Twitter, like Joe Rogan had Jack Dorsey on, and then he also had like someone else really high up in Twitter, and what they were saying was like, it's not like Jack Dorsey is the one that's like looking at a post and being like, oh, take that off. Like it's up to, like it's employees of the, so it's just like, what if that person just doesn't like, they disagree with those views from that person, they could deem it as this, and then it's just like it's very strange.
Yeah, Jack can't sit there
right
run through posts, and I do think that these companies have a responsibility to censor content to some level, like these completely infactual things that could be harmful.
Right.
Just because other countries can use our online social networks to disrupt our culture in a lot of ways, our society in a lot of ways, and I think we see that being done.
Like China's like use of it on like the United States and like their push for like their excellence in that way.
Yeah, Russia, I think specifically, there's that like 14 agency report that came out a number of years ago,
right,
into how they were using.
What do you think of that though? Do you
Wait,
think
what is that? What is the agency?
It was probably 2 years ago, or maybe even more. But there was a report put out by 14 government agencies, including like the FBI, the CIA, all that, which reported on how social media, like fake social media accounts, were being created, and these Facebook groups or whatever were being created with these fake bots, and kind of creating these microcosms that people, real people from the U.S. would get kind of indoctrinated through. Right. And in a lot of ways, sometimes radicalized through these Facebook groups that were all essentially Russian people and
Russian trolls.
Yeah, it's crazy. The reporting.
Well, that's like the new form of warfare right there, though. If you can turn a company or a country inside out from like inside, like why not do it? That'll give you an advantage.
Yeah,
exactly.
So, that's like going to be the center of our like warfare in the future, just misinformation.
I mean, and we have like TikTok, like there's definitely, no worries. But, Roy, like we have TikTok, and like that's a Chinese company, right?
Right.
So I feel like with TikTok being a Chinese company, it's easy for them to put out misinformation, but they like if they wanted to, you know what I mean? And I don't know like if there's regulations for TikTok in terms of its content that's released to the US or anything.
Isn't it owned by
It's now known by Oracle.
Now,
Oracle.
Oh, it was sold?
It was sold.
I'm pretty sure Trump demanded that they
He did, yes.
Yeah.
He did, but
that a US company purchased them.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, like
cool.
do you think that they still could have like inner roots that are like selling or moving that information? No.
Yeah, I mean, I think it definitely was a risk, and it could still be now, even though like the U.S. arm of TikTok is owned by a U.S. company.
Right.
I'm pretty sure that's how it's set up. I think that TikTok in other countries is still owned by the original TikTok.
Okay.
Well, basically.
Well, that's just like such a wild side of it all, and kind of makes it like show the relevance of like the China versus like versus all like kind of atmosphere that's going on, or the United States trying to like cleanse the world of like these false products like from around the world, which is like a massive battle going into the future, and speaks to like the power of I guess, like cybersecurity and stuff like that. But I remember you talking a little bit about how you wanted to talk and touch on a little bit about like machine learning and trading bots. What would you be able to tell the audience about stuff like that, and then just like how that might be a big thing of the future?
Yeah, I mean, what are they? What are trading bots? Define that. Something that a piece of code that trades for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the next question is communicating with crypto exchanges or stock exchanges. It's very easy. That's not hard to do using code.
Mm-hmm.
So the hard part is the decision making, right? And it's the same way, And
that's the same problem that's hard with just like trading stocks, though.
Yeah, exactly. So the question is, how can we use machine learning to make those decisions and optimize the decisions we make around our trades? We need to create, in order for it to be worth it, we need to create something that's better than a human at trading, okay? Mm-hmm. You're not trying to create a perfect model, something that always gets it right, You're trying to create something that is better than a human, or even more than that, better than the current analytical methods of those decisions.
That you do manually, right?
Yeah, that you can hand code in. You're looking at the stochastic gradients. And
So something designed by a machine?
No, you're designing it. This podcast isn't long enough to get into the intricate details of machine learning. If the audience wants to learn about that, there's a lot of good resources, actually. TensorFlow is going to probably be, at least at this point in time, your best bet if you're starting out.
How do you pronounce that?
Good too.
How do you pronounce these, just so like for our fans and whatnot?
TensorFlow?
So, yeah, TensorFlow.
Created by Google. TensorFlow.
Hell yeah.
PyTorch was created by Facebook. They're both the same thing. They're libraries. Yeah. They're machine learning libraries for Python primarily. So yeah, I use TensorFlow often. I've experimented with PyTorch. What I do now, though, is I build my own essentially machine learning libraries in Rust. But that's more in the last 2 months. I've switched over to that.
You've been working on this for quite a while, though, right?
How
long have you been doing like stocks, and then like how long have you been doing machine learning on top of that?
Yeah, I've been trading for probably 5 years. I was really big into it starting about 5 years ago. Kind of stopped trading for a period, and even now I don't trade too frequently. In fact, probably the reason I've been trading in the past 7 months to a year has just been to kind of do my own research into how to build an AI to trade, because when you're trying to build a neural network, to do something, you have to understand in a very deep way how to actually do that well as a person. Like that in my opinion, is one of the best ways to get a grasp on the problem, is to actually
understand human nature.
Spend time doing it first. So yeah, that's.
Do you have any advice for the audience today, though? Like some of this might seem like a little far fetched to them, like right now, but like, what advice do you think you can give them? You've been trading for 5 years, and also you've been doing coding into like that for a while. Like, what do you think like some good advice for them?
There's companies right now that can help you leverage machine learning. Yeah, I don't want to recommend. Maybe in a year I'll have one and I'll come back on this podcast.
Hell yeah.
I was about to say, Anders, you can get Anders.
Yeah, I'm not ready for that yet, but
Well, I mean, like as an investor, you see these stocks that are up like 1,000% in one day. And like, is that something you want to participate in? How did you kind of like navigate through something like that? And like, where do you kind of sit with like risks and stuff like that?
I am completely okay with risky trading as long as you have something watching it, you know.
Mm-hmm. Do you do like a deep research into like the company before investing, or how do you go about your trades?
Yes, I'm a very analytical person. But at the same time, so in my mind, there's really two types of trading. I guess let's establish this first. There's the day trading, where you're primarily looking at what the market is doing, looking at the numbers of the market, right? And there's more long-term trading, where you're trying to figure out what a company's doing and
The fundamentals.
Exactly, yeah. Warren Buffett style stuff, right? Is that long-term. Both are good. I definitely am more. I spend 99% of my time on the shorter term stuff, so I don't really care as much about what that company's doing at the time, you know. I'm not a long-term trader. I don't like doing that.
Right, because that's boring. Why would you want to do that? I'm here to have a little bit of fun, right? This is like your fun outside of like what you're doing.
Yeah.
Okay, I have an observation. So you said like you started doing more trading like within the past 7 months?
7. Yeah.
Yeah, like do you think the cryptocurrency kind of inspired you to get more back into it because of that's
I don't really trade stocks anymore. I'm gonna be honest. So a lot of people think that the variability or the volatility in crypto markets is the biggest negative, and it is if you're a long-term trader.
Right.
But it also is its best quality, in my opinion.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes crypto the best place to have your money in, as long as you're watching it. Or,
right.
You know, whatever.
No, just throwing in, forgetting about it.
Just throw it in. Just throw it into a meme coin.
Yeah. See what happens.
No, I wouldn't advise anyone to do that in general, but
I did.
there are some people that have made good money doing that.
Yeah. I didn't put a lot into Shiba Inu, but since it was so cheap, I was like, fuck it, you know, I'll just put a little in. Yeah. And I put it in right before it actually spiked up super high. I just saw it, but then obviously it fucking dipped. But everything's going back up now. So, you know, for now.
Do you think that keeps going, Johnny?
Well, so this is really cool. We were talking about this on the last podcast that we did. You know, Ripple, XRP.
Yeah.
So there was a big lawsuit with the SEC against that whole thing, and Elizabeth Warren said, you know, they need to have regulations figured out by the 28th of the 26th of this month. But then on the 28th, like I'm pretty sure, because XRP. So the whole argument was basically that XRP, like they're a security, but they're not a security, and that's what their argument is. They're not a security, and so like the whole thing is like they're kind of tricking investors, because these investors are thinking that they're into
like the security.
Yeah, the security.
Well, the investors think they're investing into coin, into an actual currency,
right?
And then misrepresenting is what you're saying.
Right, but like if you read XRP's white paper and everything, like they don't. It's not even like in there, like. So it's a weird case. It's like you kind of seen the power struggle. Yeah, like XRP, like Bank of America has already started implementing it, and Ethereum.
No way.
I swear on my life.
Yeah.
And they started.
There was a big article that just came out yesterday.
Yeah. And dude, and I was saying, like, I think it's gonna jump after the 26th, and literally the other day it shot up. It was at 63 cents, now it's at 71. So it's just like,
is it?
Yeah, it's at 71 now. Yeah.
Jeez, darn
Isn't
it.
that
Been
crazy?
ripping.
I
Yeah.
just sold some XRP yesterday.
Oh,
Yeah,
really? Well, it
yeah.
was up. It was up
Like,
yesterday, I think.
it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why? But wish I would have held.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Hodl.
everybody. That's every investor's worst problem: holding on for a little longer.
Especially with
It
crypto.
is. It is. And one thing I have to continually tell myself is to not be a lot harder on myself for the times when I hold and it goes down than
Right.
the times when I sell and it goes up. Right.
Right.
Because
Or
at the end of the day, that's
fine.
like a gain. That's a gain, and then you've solidified that gain. And then like the other way, when it like turns back around, you're like, darn it! Like
Yeah.
this is so
Yeah.
sad.
Yeah. And just so people know that I know what I'm talking about. Also, if I'm doing like a margin trade and I'm doing it for a loss, I'm completely blanking on the.
Do you do that? Like, do you do future contracts for crypto?
I have a love-hate relationship with future.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Us too.
Yeah.
I know. When you hear about it for the first time, you're like, "Wow, oh, that's sick."
Yeah.
Extra fees you gotta pay, and the fact that they could all of a sudden close out your
Yeah.
trades and make all that money is the worst. Like, yeah,
Right.
it's terrible. I've lost lots of money from margin trades closing on me.
And it's
Yeah.
exciting too. Like when you see it going up, but then
It
it's
is.
like doomsday when you see it.
It's very sad. It's a very sad day when it's not there.
Yeah. Or you wake
Yeah.
up and it's just gone.
You got robbed.
The
Literally.
people who trade with like 40 times,
The-
The
we
multiple.
are nuts in my opinion. I don't.
Yeah.
I
You know,
think
you can get that all the way up to 100
tiniest-
times. You can get it
Uh-huh.
all the way up to 100 times the multiple on some
I-
trading places.
It's
I
insane.
believe it. I haven't
Like-
even been concerned with it. Yeah, that's just putting way too much risk into something that's already, or adding too much risk into something that's already.
What would you think about this strategy? And were you using it like $100 multiple or 100 times multiple, but you're putting in just like spaced out investments? Like you put in like $10 today, you put in $10 next week, because like if you believe it's going to go up sometime in the future, it's going to rip to the upside, and then that's going to absolutely like tear up and go to like the moon.
Okay, but in practice, right? Like, let's say you're doing it 100 times, so that maximum, like, it goes down by 10%, and that's, I guess it's not that money you'd be out, that much money you'd be out, but you're not just risking that $10, right? You're risking all the rest of, like, probably up to $1,000
Yeah.
in your actual account on whatever exchange you're using.
But that's why you gotta wait and let it bottom out towards the bottom, and then like start throwing it in around there. Because if it's gonna be higher in the future, those positions won't get closed out until it goes back down to that price or lower, right?
It's hard to see that with crypto sometimes too.
Right, because when it was sitting around 30,000, like that was like the time that I wanted to be throwing these like $10 investments in it, like 100 times multiple, and now it ripped up to like 40. And I'm like,
Bitcoin?
yeah, Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, gosh damn it, you know.
If you're sure, if it's at a really low point and there's definitely ways to make a lot of money doing that.
Yeah.
right?
But is that something that you kind of do, or like where does your like kind of like select like what it's gonna hop in on and where it's gonna hop out, or do you not do that anymore with like futures?
I don't. Our bots do not trade using futures actually right now.
Oh, okay.
Because, or mine do. Yeah, it adds, first of all, a lot of fees, like I said, which makes it a little difficult, actually, for, the environment I train my bots in right now have a certain fee percentage that it calculates every time, and that's how it calculates the reward that you give the model per trade, right? I use reinforcement learning models is what they're called, and it basically is like training a dog, kind of, right? Like in psychology when you learned about reinforcement. You associate rewards with actions that it's taken, and it learns to maximize its rewards.
With the audience, how do you what does that mean? Like when I'm thinking about that as just like kind of somebody that doesn't know it from the outside, I feel like you're trying to what do you give like a code to like incentivize it to get better? You know, you're not like good code and then like pat it on the head or anything, but like, how are you doing?
A number. Yeah, that's all it is. And there okay, but like there's a lot more complexity to where you decide to get those rewards and how you actually decide to calculate those rewards for actions. And but really in my opinion, in the case of stocks, reinforcement learning and calculating rewards is very easy. You know, you can pretty easily associate trades or actions to good outcomes, right?
So, is the bot that you made and you're working on, is that for stocks or is that for cryptos?
It's for cryptos.
Okay, that's really cool.
Of course, yeah, I've tested it on stocks and it works. But
I like how you said that.
Again, the volatility. It's better than me.
Hell yeah! Wait, do you work on this like alone, or do you work on this with like friends? How has this been going?
I've just been working on it alone.
Wow, you've just been plugging away, dude. We love that. We love to see this.
The lone wolf.
Yeah, I say that though. I do have a buddy at Columbia who is a lot better at computer science than me. I probably know a little bit more about machine learning, and he definitely has been a big help with me.
It's all about having good buddies around you and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I was having issues with APIs, application programming interfaces is what that stands for, and it's basically how you communicate with the exchanges.
But I'd love to ask you like a little bit more questions, like a little later, but like I think they would just be a little bit more advanced than like what I think our audience can do as of like right now, because we're sitting at like a very like like I don't think like they're just getting into trading and stuff, so we don't want to overwhelm them too much today. But
no, I think it's good to be cognizant as an early trader that there are these bots out there. You know,
there are like things around you, like opportunities, like what an awesome head start.
Let me ask you real quick. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I would just say try and see how you can leverage this for your benefit. You know, even if you don't understand it, try to use other people, who have created
this. Hell yeah.
Help you out with that. What were you saying, Johnny? Sorry.
Oh, no worries. So NFTs, it's like a big, everyone's been hearing about NFTs. Gary Vee's fucking shouting it from the mountains,
Yeah.
But like my buddy, he's a great artist. He does graphic design. I told him about NFTs, and like from the limited knowledge I know about them, like it's almost a way to empower these graphic design artists, so they can sell their art that way. Looking at it from a artist perspective, not that I'm an artist, but like from his perspective, like something I don't understand is, have you been on OpenSea.io? Like it's an NFT exchange. Real quick, do you know much about the NFT space?
Yes.
Okay. So how would someone get into NFTs in terms of buying and selling them?
Selling it. So I guess I say I know a little bit. What I meant is I'll be able to understand your question at least. Not that I know deeply what about it.
Does anyone know?
I've never bought an NFT. I think they're a little bit of a fad. I don't think a lot of them will hold their value, and I think that's what we're seeing now.
Right.
Honestly, it's been a few weeks since I've probably heard about them, but last I heard, I thought that they were losing a lot of their value.
Yeah.
For artists, I think the cool thing is that you can make money every time your piece is sold, right?
Right. Yeah, that's awesome.
Which is insane. Like I really love that, and I think we should start selling all art that way.
Yeah.
Do you think that like NFTs can't be a big part of our future though, especially with like younger generations like being more and more on
Video games for sure.
Yeah, especially in something like that.
Decentraland.
Do I think they can be? Absolutely. Absolutely.
What do you think are reasons they wouldn't be though?
It stands for non-fungible token, right? So it basically is a way for us to create a finite number of digital, or certify that people have the original of a certain piece, right? And it's really the only way for us to do that in computers. Like, they're copying data is incredibly easy, right? And so I think as a concept, NFTs will always be around. I think that is...
So the motto here is like easier said than done. They're a good idea and they have like a lot of beneficial sides, but like they're gonna always be like having like their hard problems and stuff.
I would say, yep, they're overhyped right now, but they'll still be around.
So it's like any artist. Like if you're good at it, you're gonna make money from it. But if you're shit at it, like you're not gonna make shit.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. It's not like crypto where you're actually investing into a, like an infrastructure, like a company in a way.
Right. It's you're buying this one thing. Now, so yeah, there's the other side of like buying NFTs to actually as an investment, right?
Right.
Is what you're getting at.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'm not doing it personally.
Yeah.
It's not something I would encourage people to do, but I'm not, the unhealthy, well, who knows?
Right.
I'm not doing it either.
Yeah, I haven't done it either.
There's so much unknown around it as far as where the prices will go. Like a New York Times article, a screenshot of it sold for like $160,000 at the peak of this thing, right?
Damn.
Yeah, it sold by the rater of it, and but the dude whoever bought that ended up selling it for like $30,000.
Damn.
Oh dang.
And yeah, it's just that sucks. And
it's a
that's
stupid thing to
what
buy.
happens when you go, you invest in things with that many unknowns.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Anders, out of like the interest of your time, we know you're a busy man doing a lot of busy stuff. But is there any final thoughts that you kind of want to leave people with, or
bottom up trading?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to encourage the people starting out. I know we may have been talking about some things that seem very complex and all of that, but stay with it. Start small. See how you do. Just trading, whatever a low amount is for you, and get familiar with it. And that really is my best advice. Be certain with your ability before you just jump into new markets and things like that. And be certain of your knowledge of them, because that's where I think a lot of people, especially beginners, just they buy when it's going up, and that's
Give it some time and start small. I love it.
That's what I did when I first started trading cryptos, and I was using Binance before they made a whole separate exchange for U.S. citizens. Yeah, and that was when BNB was worth like $11. I had a bunch of them. Of course, as a beginner, I didn't really know anything, and so I didn't have any. But if I still had those, I would have a different background right now.
Be somewhere nice.
Yeah.
Tahiti or whatever.
Yeah.
Wait,
Well-
is BNB, is that the Binance token?
Yeah, it's like it's like 200 something right now. It was literally up to like 400. It's just crazy.
Yeah,
how
I
these
think
things grow.
like a year ago it was, I think it got like 1,000 or something, right?
Yeah, it was close. It was
It
real
was.
close.
Wow.
Nuts. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, man, what a
I
missed
missed that
opportunity.
one too. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
dang.
I actually, it's funny you say that because I did start trading on Binance too.
Were you still using it when they stopped like allowing U.S. citizens to use that one? No.
No, I use Kraken now.
Okay.
And that's
Okay,
what
nice.
I like it a lot.
You trade more than? Would you say you trade more than you like hold on to it? Like cryptos, or certain ones you hold on to, certain ones you just trade more.
I see. You mean, do I day trade?
Yeah.
Am I
Like
doing
invest,
high
yeah.
frequency? Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
Do you have any that are in like a MetaMask wallet? Just in, like
Yeah. No. I've looked into those. Do you guys?
yeah, I have a MetaMask wallet, but like it's easy. It's like it's really easy to use when you're going on to other like blockchain, exchanges and whatnot, because it's so easy to link and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But the shitty thing is the transfer fee, man, like, or the gas fee or whatever. Like, dude,
That's how they
it's
get you.
insane. It's
That's
just
how
like
they get you.
yeah, and so
It
now
is.
I'm like, I'm not even moving. I can't move this now.
Actually, this is great advice and something I definitely didn't know when I started is make sure you're transferring with the right coin, because there's vastly different transfer fees depending on which coin you're transferring, right?
Really?
Now, are you talking about specifically with those wallets, they have their own fee on top of the the networking fee?
Yeah, I've swapped it from an exchange to another exchange or something, and dude, it is like. But then when I'm trying to swap it from my own wallet, it's like an extra $30, and I'm just like,
Jesus.
what?
Jeez.
Yes, it's just ridiculous. But
What coins have you? So ADA, I think, is one of the
I can tell you
better
right now.
ones. So
Oh,
as
yeah.
far as fees, Cardano.
yep,
Yep. We love Cardano here.
Cardano, Polkadot,
Easy.
Uniswap. I think those are good. They
Yeah.
have potential. I have here. Let me see.
What? Does Polkadot have pretty low transfer fees too?
I'm not
Thought
sure,
they
to be
did.
honest. So Polygon, Chainlink, VeChain, Cardano, UMA, or whatever, Everpedia, which is cool because that's kind of like the VIX. It's like it's kind of like the VIX of crypto. It's not exactly the same, but like you're not trading against the like you're not betting on that or anything. But like I noticed when all the other cryptos are down, this one's up. And what Everpedia does, I think it provides you like information and like all this research about cryptos. So
That's
I feel
awesome.
like people start to use that when the cryptos are down because they're
Ah.
Yeah,
That's
it's-
awesome.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
yeah.
I'm gonna
So
look that up. I haven't
yeah,
heard
it's
of
cool.
That guy.
That's some good stuff right there.
Everpedia, and then Shiba Inu for fun.
Just
Yeah.
'cause.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You were telling us about all the cash you made on that. No.
I didn't make much cash, no,
Oh.
because I put a little in, like, it's so cheap, but as soon as it went up, literally like within a few days, it just shot back down, and so I was like, all right, well, at least I bought it before it shot, like, started going up, but
Yeah.
so now I'm just holding it.
Yeah.
And that's, I guess, like another piece of advice for the beginners, little nugget. Do not beat yourself up for the times when you miss gains, right?
Right.
When you sell too early and it goes up a little bit. Make sure you secure your gains when you
Yes. 100%.
Right.
It is. I can't tell you how many times I've not sold because I thought it was going to go higher.
Dang.
Same.
Yeah.
Continue
Same.
on that trend, and it just didn't because markets don't work like that.
They
That's
definitely
great.
don't
That's
forever.
great advice.
Yeah, that is great advice. This is an experienced trader if I've ever seen one.
Yeah.
I love
hell
it.
yeah, man.
Wow.
And you're the first guest on Roy's podcast as well.
Yes. Well, actually,
Emma.
we had our buddy Audit on here.
Oh, you're right. But our
Right.
first, like,
This guy's distinguished.
professional.
Yeah.
Our first
Yeah.
professional in the field. So hell yeah. Man.
We appreciate you being on here.
And also, is there anything you want to plug, like
Yeah, any
social media or anything?
Not really. I'm not on social media. LinkedIn. Look me up. Anders Rottschafer.
We'll
You
put a
know.
link. We'll put a link under
Perfect.
for them.
That'd be great.
Hell yeah. We
I'm
got
on
you.
LinkedIn.
Perfect.
But yeah, I find it's a big distraction
Yeah.
for me and don't
Wow.
have the time for it. And
I
that's
feel
what
that.
it came down
Oh,
to. Yeah.
And just so people know, when do you think the finished version of your bot will be done?
Well, I probably wouldn't.
Oh, you're not.
public
I got
if
you. I
it
got you.
was.
Hell yeah.
Right.
Say
right.
that.
Good call.
But give me a year before I launch a company that your audience can, put their money in. And
We'll be
Hell yeah.
some of your first investors right here, man.
Yeah.
We believe in you.
Yeah. Hopefully, by then, Roy's podcast has grown, and
Yes.
your company will have, be established, and then we can do this all again.
Hell yeah.
We'll see. We'll see.
Well,
Yeah, I'll definitely let you guys know if I make that available. In any
Hell
way.
yeah. Well, thank you so much for
Yeah.
coming on.
thank you for being here, sir.
Absolutely.
And
Thank
give him a round of
you.
applause. Thank you.
I heard that go off earlier.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I got my little sound bites.
Yeah.
That's sweet. That's sweet.
But hell
All
yeah.
right.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for catching.
It was good. It was fun. I love doing this.
Hell yeah, dude. Podcasts
Yeah.
are the way.
And they are the best way.